We've got a variety of chips here, from IC chips, BGA chips, and gold corner BGA chips. These are all from my recent scrapping video. These are all the chips that I got off it, and in this video I'm going to process all of these as one batch and see how much gold I can get. So if you want to see how much I can get, stick around. Okay viewers, welcome back to another video. As you would have seen in my scrapping video, there was an assortment of chips, everything ranging from ICs, BGAs, gold corner BGAs. Now I've taken them all off the boards, and in this video we're going to process them all together. The only thing different between all these is these ones need to be soaked in hydrochloric acid first. As you can see, there's all the solder on the backs of the BGAs, and so that's got to come off. But once they've been soaked, then they pretty much get processed all the same. As you can see, I've taken the backs off the gold corner BGAs because they're useless, and so they're ready to go. There's just a couple of legs on them, 2 or 3 chips that I forgot to trim. So I'll trim these now, and then they'll be ready to go. And just soak these for half an hour or so. Now I'll show you these Broadcom BGAs. They're different to anything I've not done BGA gold corner. Hang on, can't talk now. I've not done Broadcom BGAs before, and when I started pulling these ones apart, I learnt that inside this chip there's a plastic section here, and I don't know if there's any gold material. It looks like there would be. Just here I can see gold sticking out. In case you can't see that, just here there's a bit of gold sticking out of this black section here, and then underneath this black section is an aluminium heatsink. So I'll try and get this off if I can. Get the rest of this one off. So they're almost like, well, I would say they're pretty close to a brown or black fiber CPU, because they have their little epoxy section in the middle. If you ever see one of those and you take a chisel to the center part, and you'll see once the epoxy comes off that there's gold bond wires inside. There's a plastic, or it feels like plastic, on the front here. I'm not sure if it is plastic or not, but once I can separate it from the aluminium, you'll see what I mean. There we go. Well, it's not plastic because it bends and stays bent. There's that part I was trying to get out of the middle. Sorry, I went off camera then. I'm just trying to... This must have aluminium or something inside it too, because when you bend it, it stays where you bend it. Okay, so this here, I think it's aluminium. It could be copper. Most heat sinks inside chips are copper. I'll have to put a file to it and find out. Either way, it's no good for the processing part now, so it's got to be removed. But as you can see with this part here, it also stays the way you bend it. So I'm guessing maybe that's aluminium and maybe there's copper in here. But either way, just in case there's gold in here, this is going to get burnt. We'll soon see when I burn it what's in there. So I'm going to do that to each of these Broadcom Cisco system chips. I'll do this before I can process them. No point in burning them with the aluminium inside. Oh, someone's there, hang on. I don't know where I was up to when my visitor arrived. It's like this every single day. I can never get anything done. Every day someone turns up and I've got to stop what I'm doing and wait for them to hang around all day and then finally leave, and it's annoying. So this part that I'm peeling off now honestly feels like it's just a piece of copper. I can't see that there would be any gold in it, but because I don't know, I'm not going to leave it off out of the mix and then potentially miss out on gold. I'd better just treat it in case. But yeah, it's just like bending a sheet of copper. I don't know what's in that middle section. There could be something in there, so I'll keep it in the mix. There's no need to put this in hydrochloric acid because there's no solder on it. Same with these pieces. So all the pieces that I take off, I'll put in this pile because these only ones have to be soaked. So I'm going to do that one yet. This one's already taken. This one's already done. That's done. I think I'll go take the top off that one. It's hard to separate these two. You try and get the right point where you can get between them, like that. This part just feels like plastic, but like I said, I'll keep it all in there in case. I'll put it over here. I'm pretty sure the gold is in the epoxy there. I don't know if you've ever done a black or brown fibre BGA, but when you peel the epoxy away, you can see the bond wires in there. So you get a chisel and you hit there, and there. The epoxy breaks off and you see the circle going round and round and round a bond wire. It's quite impressive. If you guys have done these before, can you put it in the comment, because I'm keen to see how good they are. I don't know if they're going to be really good or bad or just like any other BGA. Let us know in the comments what you've done, if you've done these before, and if you like them or if you don't. And I'm guessing you guys would know, if you've done these before, an easier way to separate what I'm doing right now. It has to be an easier way than this. Pick that piece up that just dropped. Come on. Gotcha. Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of gold sticking out of that corner there. I don't know if you can see a little tiny bit of gold there. Under there, there's a little bit of epoxy on there. And this here should hopefully poke out. Yep. I'm going to scrape this off and get every bit and try and do the best job I can for the person that I'm doing the toll refine for, and get her the maximum amount of gold that I can get for her. Can you see the gold sticking out there? Some of the epoxy chipped off, and there's some gold wires that's just there. Got it. So now that's just, well, I say aluminium, but it could be tin copper. Feels like aluminium. It's a little bit harder to bend than aluminium. Been getting some really good comments from you guys. I like it when you just comment on my video. And apart from anything else, other people who read the comments might learn. If you've got some added info that you can share with the group, so we can all learn. Everybody's got their strengths, you know. Some people have done more of one thing, and some people have done more of something else, and it'll be a good little community that we can all learn from if we all put in our 2 bobs worth. It sounds like I've got another visitor just turned up. I don't know, I've got the gas company out the front checking a leak. So the noises I'm hearing could be them. What I'm going to do to make life easier for myself is put all these gold corner BGAs off the table so I don't knock them onto the floor. And then once I've taken the legs off the IC chips, I'll put those in the same container and then leave these separate so they can be soaked. There you go, you can see the gold there. You see it coming around here, you see it go across there, you can see it up here where the epoxy is chipped off. Nice. It's not easy to get this off, I'm struggling with it. Whatever the glue is that they've used, good glue. Where'd that go? It can go up in the bucket. You see it now? You see the gold? Beautiful. And normally we do BGAs and ICs separate, but because this is all from the one batch for this lady, I might as well just do it all together. Seems pointless doing such small amounts individually. I was going to do these chips on their own to see how good the yield is from these, but since there's only, what, 5 or something, doesn't seem viable. I need a knife to get this off. Oh, I knew that would happen. Oh, that's an IC chip. They don't make it easy to get off, I'm telling you. It's crazy. Where'd that go? Oh, gotcha. leave any gold behind and get every bit. I had a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a few people were saying that I do the chips wrong, that I should heat them again once I've crushed them. In the last video where I did chips, I got them as white as I possibly could, so white, and pretty much they were falling apart as I touched them. The circuit dies were falling out of them, so I know that I definitely got them roasted enough. But this time around I might do a second extraction just in case, second roasting. Yeah, there is a one memory chip in here, SD thing. It's only a 32 gigs, nothing special, and it probably doesn't work. It's been scratched and bumped around and not looked after. I don't know where it came from, so I'm just going to include that in there, in here. Alright, so this last one here, and this one here, by the way, I can see along the very edge a faint line of copper, so this may be copper, more not aluminium. I don't know, just the light was catching it when I was doing it a minute ago, and I could see pink. So God, these are hard to start. Hopefully one of you guys know a trick to this, an easier way to do it. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get any more Broadcoms again, but if I do, it'd be nice to know there's a secret to it. Come on. This, I swear to God, it just feels like copper. Alright, we'll put it in just in case. Wrong container. Alright, so we can push this through. Well, you've seen what I'm doing. I've done a couple of them now, so I'll finish this one off camera, and I'll trim the legs off these ICs. There's only a few of these, about 3 or 4, and there's one square one with legs on it. I'll trim those off, and when I come back I'll be ready to process all these. I got the BGAs in a beaker, so I pour some hydrochloric acid in and just let them soak for a little while to dissolve the silver. Now that the BGAs have had a good soak in hydrochloric acid, they're nice and clean, no solder on them. So I'm going to rinse them off and pour out the hydrochloric acid, keep it, give them a good rinse, and then I can start burning them along with all the other chips. Okay, so I've got my gas cylinder with my gas torch, my weed burner. I've got the BGAs in there already after they've had the soak in hydrochloric acid, and then in here I've got the IC chips and all the other stuff in there, gold corner BGAs and so on. So I've got those in here too. So that's everything, that's all the chips that were there. Now I'll level them out, flatten them out, so they can all get access to the heat. and I'm going to give them a roast, and I'm going to keep going until they're as white as I can get them. Really white. The longer it takes to do this, the better the result will be. No point showing you on video, because the last time I was using this it was really noisy and you just couldn't hear anything. So I'll come back once I've roasted them. Now these IC chips are really thick, these ones here, and usually what happens, you put the torch over the chip, hold it there for a bit, and it glows bright red, and take it away and you see that it's white. But that's only on the surface. You need to keep holding the flame over the chip for, you know, a minute or two at least before you take it away, because you need to cook inside the chip as well, not just the surface. With the thinner chips, they're not so bad. They only heat up for a little while and then they're white. But as I said, these chips here, look how thick they are. And you've got to cook all the way through. So I've been tossing these over, cooking them, turning them over, cooking them, and you can see how white they are. So for those people who commented saying I didn't burn chips long enough and I left charcoal behind, carbon, which would have burnt the which would have dissolved the gold, you can't get them any whiter than this. You can see they're falling apart as I open them up, and then I expose dark patches like that and I hit them again. See, now this one's coming apart and it's exposed that white bit, the dark bit there. See, and I'm opening them all up and then hitting it. See, this one's come apart now and there's more dark. So I'm doing that to all the chips, making sure they're all completely exposed to the heat before I finish. There's no point in rushing it. You really do have to hold that flame over the torch, over the chip, for a good minute or two, and they should break apart when you touch them. Now that they're all burnt, I'm going through them and breaking them up with my fingers, and I'm feeling for any copper that's inside them, because they usually have some sort of copper heat sink inside, like this. So I've taken out a little pile so far. I think I might have got them all. Because otherwise, if you put them through the crusher, they're only going to beat up into a little ball, and then they could trap the powder that's in them. You've got to try and straighten them out. It's just so much easier to fish through it now, and then you can see if there's any that aren't burnt properly, because when you break them they're black inside. But I think I got them all. So now I'm going to put them through a coffee grinder. I've never done this before. We had a coffee grinder inside, but we never use it, so I decided for something different I'll use it and give it a shot. So now I'll get the coffee grinder set up and we'll crush them. Alright, so I'll get a little bit at a time. I probably should use a spoon and tip it into here, making sure I don't spill any of it. I don't know how much to do at once, so I'll just do 3 scoops. Apparently I just put this on top and push down. Sounds like there's some hard things inside there, the way it's hitting the sides. I must have missed some copper in there or something. Alright, we'll get the sieve and we'll see what I've missed, see what's in there making that noise. Not the easiest thing I've ever done. Not sure if you can see this or not. Now whatever's in there making that noise, I'll put aside and we'll put it back through, burn it again and see if it makes a difference. Alright, so we'll need a container. There we go. Didn't work this out very well. Alright. It might be just bits of glass and the circuit dies. I'd say that's what it could be. Hey Nadine, can I have a small bucket or something to sort of sieve this into?
A small bucket to sieve in?
Yeah, just to sieve it. And I think I do need a spoon, a small spoon. It does turn it into a nice powder. I'll show you again in a minute what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like glass. We'll keep it just in case. I was just trying to get all the... I've sieved it back into the same container that the hard stuff was in. So I'm going to have to put it all back through again. And when Nadine gets a bucket sorted for me, I'll be able to filter it into that and then I've got to get all this out. I'll come back when she's ready. I've cleaned out the machine with my little paintbrush and mixed it all up. A tiny bit of hard stuff which I'm putting into here. Now I'm going to put that little bit back on here and give it a roast. Most likely all it is is metal, because there would be metal legs inside the IC chips. It certainly feels like metal. In fact, yeah, there's nothing to crush. I thought I could crush it, but I can see and feel it's just metal. Metal from inside the ICs. But for the purists out there who say I didn't do it right, I'll give this a roast and I'll try and mix it again and see what happens. Alright, so I'll put all this in again, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it's metal, but for shits and giggles, we'll have a look. And after all, it is all shits and giggles until someone giggles and shits, right? So let's crush it up if we can. Alright. Anything that didn't crush is obviously metal, and I'll put that in with it because there could be gold amongst it. The whole idea, if you're wondering what was the point, is to liberate the gold, crush out the chips and get access to the gold. So if you're wondering why I'm putting the coarse material back in, if it was the point in crushing it, that's why. I'm making sure I get this nice and clean. I don't want to leave any gold behind. And I'll tip this into the sieve and then I'll give this machine a clean. Let's see what we get. So now the next step, because the battery's about to go low flat, so I'll tell you the next step is a water separation, or gravity separation as some people call it. You've seen that before. It's just where I rinse away all the dust, all the ash that's no good, and just keep all the heavy material. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'll tip this into the filter now, the colander, the sieve, whatever you want to call it. I know you can't see what's going on, so I'm just tipping it into the colander, the sieve. Cleaning out the container, making sure I get all the powder out, don't miss any. I don't want anyone saying I've left gold behind. If I don't know what I'm doing in a video, I'll let you know. But I've been doing this for 15 years, so I think I know what I'm doing. Alright, now I'm going to do a water separation, gravity separation. It's amazing how much that reduces down to once you remove all the ash. It looks like there's hardly anything there, but we did have a small amount of chips too, so you can't expect much, but sure looks like a lot less once all the ash is gone. Now what I need to do is rinse this with distilled water to remove the tap water, so that if there's any silver in there, I don't want it to drop out as silver chloride. The tap water would do that, the chlorine in the tap water. So I rinse this out with some distilled water, put it in a beaker, and then we'll do a nitric bath to remove any base metals and to see if there's any silver in there. Not that there'd be much if there was, but hey, I've got to get everything I can for my customer. I got all the debris into a beaker, with some distilled water in there, and now I'm going to add some nitric acid, put it on the heat, and just keep going until the reaction stops. It shouldn't take long because there's not much there to do. So I put a couple of pipettes in for now. There's no specific amount because we're only dissolving base metals. And then the usual story, when the reaction stops and you put nitric in, nothing happens, you know you're ready. And then I'll drain it out and thoroughly wash it. I took this off the heat yesterday so it could cool down, and the base metals, as far as I know, have all been consumed. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but you can see the patch of gold right there. a brown circle there of gold. So what I'm going to do is pour off the solution, give it all a good rinse, make sure I get rid of all this contaminated solution, and then I'm going to put some aqua regia in there. Even though it's only a small amount of solution debris, and I could easily separate the gold, just in case there's any other gold caught up in the debris, I'm just going to dissolve the whole lot. Plus it wouldn't be 24 karat as it is right now. A lot of people say it is, but it's not. So I'll dissolve the gold, and that way I can separate all the debris from the gold in solution, and then drop it. See what we get. The solution's all drained off. Usually I try and keep the gold at the bottom of the beaker, but this time I put everything in a filter, just so I know I'm not missing any, because when the residue started to pour out, it could have had microscopic bits of gold in there for all I know. So to be safe, I've put everything in the filter. Now I can discard that liquid. I'll check it for any silver, but I'll put this filter in the beaker and put some aqua regia, and we'll start dissolving the gold. I put a small sample of the solution aside and put some salt water in, and you can see that there is a reaction, but it's such a faint reaction, like there's hardly anything there. It's certainly not worth chasing. I'm just going to put some copper in and let it fall out, but it'll be a minute amount. So you can see it's not even like, there's no white chunks in there, it's just slightly cloudy compared to that blue. So I'll just put some copper in there, sort that out later. Now I can put some aqua regia in here, and let's see what we can get. I've put the aqua regia in there. Now I'm only going to use a pipette of nitric. Okay, you don't want to go doing ratios 1 to 3 or whatever it is, because you end up using too much nitric. And when you denox it, you're just wasting it. So I've put the hydrochloric acid in, 1 pipette of nitric. I can always add more if I need it. If the reaction stops and I put a tiny bit more in and it picks up, then I know there's more to dissolve. If not, then I've only got a tiny bit of nitric to deal with. So that's, never ever do a recipe or a ratio or whatever they call it. I see people doing it all the time, and it's so frustrating because I know how dear it is. Some people can't even afford to buy it. Some people can't even get it in their country. So don't waste it. So the reaction for these chips has stopped. Put a bit more nitric in and nothing happened. So I'm convinced that all the gold has been dissolved. I put some ice blocks in there, distilled water ice blocks, to cool it down. And now I'm going to filter it. I might have to run it through a couple of times until it's crystal clear, and then we can drop the gold. Not expecting a whole lot. We didn't have much to start with, but anything's something. The gold solution has filtered nice and clear. Now I'm just put some water in there to remove the gold solution out of the filter. The cotton ball there, it's yellow. So I want all that yellow to come out of that cotton ball. And then I can put this into that. And I'll put some iron sulfate in. I've got some iron sulfate made up. Alright, put some iron sulfate in. Oh, nice colour change for that. Let's let it do its thing. I'm back tomorrow to check it. See how much is in there. It's the next day and the gold seems to have settled. I put it in the sunlight and you can see there is a nice little bit at the bottom. I'm not sure how much. We'll have a look and see. Hopefully there's a nice amount in there. I'm not expecting a whole lot because we didn't have much to start with in the way of chips. There's the gold down the bottom there. It's very colloidal, very dirty by the looks of it. So it needs a good wash. So I've got the kettle here, some hot water. And then it's colloidal, it's going to take a while to settle, usually. Give it a good swirl around. let it sit, see how long it takes to settle. It's usually a good sign of how pure it is if it settles real fast. But I can see it's going to take a while. There's a lot of gold in suspension. So let that sit. And I may even put it into a smaller beaker so it's easier to clean. I've got a little one here, so I'll tip it into that. The smaller the better, because then there's less area at the bottom. So I've got to squirt that out, gold in there, and I'll let it settle, and I'll do 3 water washes, and then I'll put some hydrochloric acid in there and let it sit on the heat for a little while. I'll come back after I've done that. It's amazing how the wash procedure helps. So the 3 boiling water washes, now hydrochloric acid, and look at the colour. Nice chocolate brown coffee colour. That's how it should be, and it's clumping. It's not all colloidal like it was before. It's so good. So I'll just let that boil for a bit longer, and then I'll rinse off all the hydrochloric acid, and we can dry it out and weigh it. Well guys, here's the powder. It's a really nice colour, but I don't know if I'm happy with the amount or disappointed, because there's really not much there. But if you look at how many we started with, how many chips, there really wasn't many at all. And then when it was crushed and gravity separated, by the time all the dust had been taken off, there was next to nothing in the bucket. So considering all that, I'd say it's not a bad little yield. I would like it to be a hell of a lot more, of course. I want to try and get as much as I can for my client, but if the gold's not there, it's just not there. There's nothing I can do about that. They're honestly the worst e-waste I've ever seen. So I'm not sure how well you can see this. I'm looking in the viewfinder, but it's hard to tell. So I'm going to get my little trays wherever they've gone. I'm just looking in my drawer here for the little trays that go on the scales. There's a million and one things in this drawer. I'm finding everything except what I'm looking for. I'm going to have to find them and come back. Alright. If they had teeth, they would have bitten me. They were right in front of me. We're only going to need the little peewee one because we've got hardly any gold. At the rate this is going, I'm not even going to bother taking a cut. It's not even going to be worth taking a cut. And I feel bad for my client that there's not enough there. So, tip this in. First of all, I'll tear it. Let's not tear. Gram. There we go, tear. That is pitiful. Let's just see if I can get the last of this out. This is next to nothing, and the worst thing is the other gold that we've gotten so far from all the other things probably weighs about the same. So at this rate, we're lucky to even get a gram. So in case you can't see that, 0.032. It's nice looking gold powder, but it'd be nice if there was a lot more. Yeah, I can see I'm not even going to take a cut out of this. The only thing we got left out of all the e-waste that I got from these people is all the pins, which are being processed at the moment. It's the last chance to try and get some decent gold, and I'm fairly certain there's not even a gram at this point. There's no way that the little bit of gold we've already got would make way more than this, so we're only up to about 0.6. Pitiful. So lucky it's a friend. I wouldn't mind doing it for free for a friend. I wouldn't do it for free for anyone else, but you know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. Please like and subscribe, help me grow the channel. If you know anybody that would enjoy watching these types of videos, send them a link. I'd much appreciate it. So I'll see you on the next video when we see how much we get from the pins. Bye for now.